So, Tina, how would you like to play Three Question Thursday?
Okay,
All right,
I'm in the hot seat.
Three Question Thursday when I don't know what I'm going to ask you, but here we go. All right, you mentioned about in your habits a few minutes ago about the trigger, all of those things. Does that come out of the Atomic Habits book?
It does, and it's in my book as well. I give credit to James Clear every step of the way, but it does come straight from Atomic Habits. The cue, the trigger, the action, the reward. Yeah.
Can you break that down a little bit for someone who this is a new thought process?
Sure, sure. So everyone, when they create a new habit, actually every action you have is on a loop in your brain. Most of what we do throughout a day is automated. We're on autopilot most of our day, which is think about when you take a shower. You probably first wash your hair, then wash your armpits and shave your legs. You probably have a habit. Or when you get dressed, you probably put either your shirt on first or your socks on last, or you probably have a habit and you don't even realize it. You don't even realize it. And whenever we want to create a new habit, we have to tap into the habit loop. And that is, you need to have a cue. You need to have something that tells you it's time to create the habit. And that cue could be your alarm clock going off. It could be when you come in from walking the dog. It could be when your spouse comes out of the shower. You need a cue which tells you it's time to do the thing. You need a craving. You need to want to do the thing. You need to create a craving for it. That motivates you. And typically your motivation depends on two things: how much you desire the action and how much resistance you are going to come up against. So in other words, if it's a hassle for you to run downstairs and put on your gym shoes, he says, have them next to the bed. Or if it's a hassle to grind the coffee beans in the morning before you make your food prep your breakfast, make the coffee the night before. Set up the least barriers to following through with your new habit as you possibly can. Then there's the action, the actual habit. You perform the action. Then the most important part is a reward. You need to reward yourself for the action, the habit. So in my case, when I meditate and pray, I usually hit the brew button on the coffee pot. And then when I'm done, I go get my first cup of coffee, which for me, that always is a reward. That's a dopamine hit. You have to really put some thought into your rewards, to something to journal, something to put some thought into. And this habit loop plays all day long with your behaviors. And that comes right out of Atomic Habits. I just gave you the whole book.
Oh, that's
in a
great.
nutshell.
Yeah. It's really important to understand so that you can set yourself up for success too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious about the book writing that you did, the mindful
Morning.
How long did it take you? I mean, what you've been doing, new habits, new AM, PM routines. I mean, your life has just totally changed. Now you're writing a book. Were you surprised by what it took to write the book, or were you able to just do these habits and be very, precise every day? I'm going to write a little bit. How did you manage that, such a project like that?
Flew off my fingers. The book flew off my fingers. And it actually is only 60 pages long. And it was a book to teach me how to publish my own books. And many people in the class that I'm taking publishes anything, just slap anything on the page. And I thought, if this has my name on it, I want it to have meaning and I want to help somebody. And I made it a little bit longer than the recommended first book, just to learn. But actually, I'm quite pleased with it because it's going to be released on Audible later this year. And so many people love to pop in the headphones, pop on their bike, pop on their treadmill, in their car, on the way to work, and listen to an audiobook or listen to an Audible. And this is something you can do in an hour and get so much out of it, so much out of it. And I'm really proud of the book. And it just flew off my fingers. It really did.
That's fantastic. And you mentioned Audible. Do you have any favorite podcasts? This is question number 3. This is for all the money, all the marbles. Do you have any other resources, podcasts, anything that are
I
go-tos
do.
for you?
I do. Pruning to Prosper podcast, it's called, by Gina Morton. Pruning to Prosper is decluttering all the stuff in your life so
Oh,
that you can hear from God.
pruning to
Pruning to
prosper.
Prosper. She talks about meals, money, mindset, and decluttering for the Catholic mom. And anybody can benefit from this, anybody, sincerely. And a lot of meal planning. She talks about a lot of decluttering, a lot of personal development, clearing the clutter from here.
Mhm.
And that goes hand in hand with my meditation, with my book, with Bright Line Eating, clearing the food chatter, clearing the clutter. And she comes out every Wednesday. I'll usually do food prep when I listen to her in the morning, chop my salad usually. And yeah, I love that podcast.
Well, that is great. Well, Tina, again, thank you so much for being on Starting Out Bright, for sharing your story, and thank you for playing 3-Question Thursday. It's been a
Thank you,
delight.
Ari. It was so much fun. Thank you
So
so much
great
for
to get
having
to know
me.
you.
Take
Thank
care.
you. Good night, everybody. Stay
Bye.
bright.